Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Shalak, Rayam, Wah, Ainash, Wah, Haragi, Wah, Mishpani, Wah, Gador, Mawat, Al, Kor, Adawani, Wah, Kawaya, What? Ayab Yinawa. Baba Kashab. Baba Kashab. Shalak. Ash. Ba. Shem. Bayab. Baba Kashab. Shabar. What? Abad. Ayab Yinawa. Baba Kashab. Shabar. Ha. Makan. Shur. Ha. Ayab Yah. Baba Kashab. Baba Kashab. Sar. Ma. Gayam. Ba. La. Masapai. The water.
All right, Shalom, Israel, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Mashakum like Yahushai. That is to say, Yahweh, being named the Heavenly Father, who the world will call God, and Yahweh Shai, being named His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right, this is Brother Casadia from WFI Jersey, Philly. Most High willing, you locked in through the Spirit, right? You're praying, right? You're reading these last days, you're fasting as the days approach to Yahweh Shai returning, as the days approach to Passover, right? As we got about 7 weeks till Passover, we should be locked into the Spirit. It's a lot of different things that's going on the earth, right? A lot of destruction that's happening at different, from various different levels, whether it's famines, right? Pestilences, right? Damn flus, you understand? And the Most High God is stirring up the earth, whether it's wars, right? And rumors of wars. So we want to continue on with bringing these updates, every Wednesday night through the Spirit. Now, we touched on in times past, and real quick, Shalom to everyone that's tuned in as well, and that will tune in, Lord willing. Shalom. The brother Yatazama, Most High willing, he'll be joining me soon. Your Esdras is not going to be able to make it tonight, right? For those who, keep up with this. But nevertheless, it continues on going, right? It continues on going. We're going to continue on bringing out the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. I was mentioning, if you've been keeping up, right, with these Watchmen Wednesdays, we've been going into recently, specifically last week, the past few weeks, we've been going, we've been going into a lot, but nevertheless, we've been touching on, the nations, or the nations hating the horror. We're roughly paraphrasing in Revelation, the 17th and 18th chapters, and in Revelation, the 11th chapter, right? And touching on that, we went into, again, the pestilence that's been taking place with this chicken. They call it the bird flu, right? That's been going on recently, and giving you an admonition as well, right? Not to get down with that chicken, right? For the time being. Now, if you want to do it, you say, look, brother, I don't want to hear what you're saying. That's on you, right? That's on you. But me and my house, we're not eating no chicken, right, until we see fit. And everything's at the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? So, but you also want to be circumspect and mindful through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? So I want to pull this screen up and get right into this thing, right? Share my screen and get right into it. I believe I can do it like this. I'll do it like this, right? So Most High willing, in just a short second, you'll be seeing my screen, right? Let's do it like this. No, I don't want that. All right. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. So let's go to 2nd Esdras, 7th chapter. Right? It's the book of St. Esdras, chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 43. 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, and verse 43. And we often touch on these books, right? Often touch on Isaiah, right? The books of Isaiah, or it's like the book of Isaiah, the book of Ezra, or 2nd Esdras, right? We touch into these various books, right? There's a reason behind it, as we always go into, right? There's other videos that brothers make through the Spirit, right? Other breakdowns. I myself, of course, I make other breakdowns through the Spirit, right? Exhortation, again, particular breakdowns, how to combat or really how to defend the word and the gospel and different doctrines that may come up, and how to dissect those and break those down. There's various different videos and edification that can go out. But Watchmen Wednesday is not that time, right? Every Watchmen Wednesday, we're chiefly going into, if we're still here, we'll be going into other breakdowns. I have, I really want to break down all of Revelation, break down all of Daniel, go into these various books and whatnot, and chiefly stick with prophecy, right? And there's a reason behind it. There's a spirit behind it, right? I'm gonna get a few precepts on that. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39, and verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. Right? So a man that's given his mind to the laws of the Most High, right? It's not just talking about Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. It's talking about the Bible. So a man that's given his minds to the laws of the Lord. There's laws that's found in Sirach. For brothers that say they're just laws only found in the first 5 books, but that means you don't have to keep nothing that's written in the book of Sirach. That would mean it wouldn't, you shouldn't keep nothing that's written in Proverbs. These are laws, statutes, and commands. So these are different things that the Most High has given and issue out to our forefathers, so our forefathers can issue out to the younger men and younger generations that's befell them, chiefly us, right? It says, so a man that's given his mind to the Bible, that's really going into, and is occupied in meditation thereof, meaning his mind is on the Bible, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. So you want to be occupied in prophecies. The Lord is not saying be occupied in other things. The Lord is saying to occupy your mind into the prophecies of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, right? So when we go into these different books, right, prophetic books, there's a reason behind it once again, right? I want to get this in Revelation chapter 19. It's Revelation chapter 19, and I'm going to get Salaki. Revelation chapter 19, I'm going to get verse 10. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him, right? John fell at this angel's foot, right? It says to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not, right? Because you're not, what's going to tell you? I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren, right? We're not to worship these angels, right? We're not to worship the angels. We worship Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai. We don't worship these angels. It says, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Right, so the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, you want to have the testimony of the Lord. Now, what's the testimony of Yahweh Shai? It says, worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So you're really believing in the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai when you're moving in the spirit of prophecy, right? Because I think a brother just went into this, if I'm not mistaken, it was the brother Araya, right on his last Q&A video he went into, right? I believe at the start of the video is going into, if you want to really deal with these Christians in these other nations and these other philosophers and those that's in these different religions, they can't get down with prophecy, right? You ask a Muslim, what did the so-called, right, falsely claimed, right, Prophet Muhammad, right? Ask them, what did he ever prophesy of? And I mean, we had some foolish answers before. Foolish answers. One man said that he prophesied of honey, that man in the earth will be eating honey. Where is that at? We know that the so-called Quran came about in 612 AD, roughly around that time. The 6th century AD, which is about what? 1400 years ago. Now, when you read the book of Judges, the 15th or the 16th chapter, right, about Samson, hey, honey been around. We've been getting down with honey. The Lord, even Deuteronomy, right, which is written in the first 5 books of Moses, right, the 5th book to be exact, right, you have the Lord speaking of the land of Israel as a land that flows with what? Milk and honey. So that's a false claim to say that this man prophesied that man will be eating honey when man been eating honey. Those things been from the foundation. You go into these prophecies with these Christians, they can't deal. They can't hang. So the true servants of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, they'll be able to expound and go into the prophecy. Why? Because that's what the Lord said would happen. Right? I'm going to get one more, then we're going to continue on. Let's go to Daniel, the 12th chapter. And I'll check and see if this brother, or the brother's backstage. Brother's back. Shalom, King.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom. More praise to the Most High. I'm just getting a few through the Spirit. Right?
Time.
I didn't start second Esdras yet. We're going to continue on, though. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12. And I want, damn, I had something in my mind. Oh yeah, I want to get this. This is Daniel chapter 12, and I'll start at 4. It says, I start at 3, right? I start at 3. Daniel 12 and 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So there's many individuals out here that's running to and fro to seek knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Now they're not getting the true wisdom from Yahweh Shem Shai. They're getting the wisdom from this world, from these different philosophers, Greek scholars, and things of that nature. Right, but the men of the Lord, they're going to be waiting for the books that's sealed. And these books are now being unveiled in these last days. Right? I'm going to get verse 9. It says, and he said, go thy way, Daniel, right? Because Daniel was eager to understand when it's going to be the end of these days. I'm going to actually get verse 8. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? She said, look, I want to know what's going to happen to my people. I want to know what's going to happen in the last days. Right? Will I be there? Right? What's going on? Right? These are different questions that the righteous men will be asking the Lord. And as we seen, and we went into it last week, right? I forget which brother brought it out. But a lot of things you see that Ezra may write about, right? Daniel is writing about, or Jeremiah is writing about. You might find it by even the mighty, most know him as just a king, but the mighty prophet David wrote about, right? So there's different, these prophets, these men, these righteous leaders of our nation, they oftentimes want to know what's going to happen in the end because they understood that we would be the ones to, after the end is really the end of, us transgression, right? You read about that in Daniel, the 9th chapter. So once that's done and Yahweh Shai is on the scene, it's going to be no more sinning against Yahweh Shem Shai. There's no more sinning against your maker, right? You'll be able to serve Yahweh Shem Shai in the true fullness, not worrying about this flesh trying to overtake you and wicked thoughts trying to corrupt your mind, right? And a new bill that pops in the mailbox. It says, for the words are closed up and sealed. Slacky, verse 9. And he said, go that way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. So this word was sealed up, right? You read about that in Daniel, it's like in 2nd Esdras, the 7th chapter, where the Lord speaks about, and I believe it might be 33 on down. But the Lord spoke about there being a silence over the earth, right? I might get that precept, right? But there being a great silence over the earth. I might have to get that precept real quick, right? Right? Let me get this. Let's go to 2nd Esdras. Where is this at? But this is only the it's not the 1611. All right, let's go to 2nd Esdras chapter 7, and I want to get this precept, right? 2nd Esdras chapter 7, and I believe it's at, I want to start at 30, right? I start at 29. 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 29. And after these years shall my son Christ die, and all men that have life. And for you OT only, right? Those that believe or don't believe in a Mashiach Yahushai, you also shouldn't believe in this apocrypha. If you're OT only, drop the apocrypha. I don't want to see you with the apocrypha in your hand. You need to explain this. What is this talking about? Why does it say, for my son Yahweh Shai shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years? When we know that Ezra was around during the Medo-Persian captivity, which is about 400 years prior to Yahweh Shai being on the scene. When you go into the dates in the history, right? Let's continue on. I'm not going to turn into that, but let's continue on. And after these years shall my son Christ die, and all men that have life, right? Those that was around during that time, right? The apostles, the elect men and women that was around during this time, that was being resurrected to life, right? Believing in Yahweh Shai, repenting, right? Coming out of being in the ways of the Gentiles, right? It says, verse 30, and the world, so after that, and the world shall be turned into the old silent 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. And that's the days that we was living in. Hey, that's still the days we're living in now, but we're waking up out of them. Right? You're waking up out of them. That's why you read in Revelation 11th chapter, in Daniel the 9th chapter, it speaks about a covenant being made for 1 week. A week is 7 days. And in the midst of that week, right, which is the first 3.5 of that week, you got the elect being wakened up. Then right after that, you're going to have it be cut off, or them being cut off from being able to serve Yahweh by Shem Shai. That's something known as the abomination of desolation. And for the remainder of the week, it's going to be evil on the earth. And then you have Yahweh Shai coming towards the end of the week, chiefly the 7th day, if you have ears to hear, the Sabbath, bringing in a rest for the elect. It says, and after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. So you have the Lord speaking of a time of silence being over the earth, right? Now, it's really that was chiefly talking about the time prior to the us Israelites waking up in these last days, right? The Most High, he wasn't having a word go out on the highways and byways for the elect men and women to be waking up in 1700s, 1800s. Those days were long and gone. There wasn't a prophet seen on the earth, right? And the Lord said that, right? So the Lord told Daniel that would happen, and guess what? It happened. So let's finish this out in Daniel 12 and 9. And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Right? So, hey, King, you had anything you want to bring out before we start with 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter?
Nah, we can get in there.
Khan, all praise to the Most High. So, there's not a whole bunch that's really going. I mean, there's a lot of things that's going on, but it's more so recurring things, right? So, really just some updates, and you could kind of do your research as well, right? We always encourage that, right? We out here bringing out these precepts, but don't just trust our word only, right? That wouldn't make much sense, right? You want to be wise as scholars. I'm gonna get this real quick, actually, in 2nd Chronicles. So you have to be scholarly in this thing, right? You're not just out here listening to what a brother has said, right? I want to get this precept. If I think it's in 1st Chronicles, actually, right? So you want to be a scholar in this thing, and you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, right? Your research on particular matters. I believe this precept was in Chronicles. Look this up real quick, right? Okay, all right, that's all right. Most High willing, I'm gonna get this other precept that I was thinking of. Let's get this real quick in Acts, right? So before I continue, let me get this precept. This is the book of Acts, chapter 17 and verse 11. It says, and the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night unto Berea, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. These, and that was verse 10, verse 11, these were more noble than those in Thessalonica, and that they received the word with all readiness of mind. Right, so when someone's breaking down a word to you, you want to be receptive, right? Especially if they're breaking down understanding in the Bible. But if it's not, as the Lord said in Job, the 33rd chapter, right? In the 4th verse, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the ear trieth the words as the mouth tastes of meat, roughly paraphrasing, right? So you understand you might have some food and, it's not good for your stomach. You'll immediately vomit or spit that thing out. You understand? So how much more if someone's breaking down a word and it's not sitting right in your spirit, right? You want to receive the word with readiness of mind, but also this next part. It says, and search the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. So they didn't just, okay, listen, this is Paul, this is Silas. We got to trust this. No. And they went back and they made sure they searched the scriptures. They went back and they made sure they was doing research over the particular matters that they were bringing out. So you should do the same, right? You should do the same. Now, I wanted to show this real quick. This, again, it's not a whole bunch of chief news that's out there, but I want to get this. What is this? What am I thinking of? Epstein, right? Show this real quick. So, Lord willing, you can see the screen. I believe. Okay, no, that's not what I want. It was something that just dropped earlier today. I might have to go on X, right? Twitter. Hey, King, you mind find that real quick, Baba Kashai?
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, I did. Actually,
I got one on X
real
right
quick.
now.
I was gonna say, real quick, King. I was gonna say, if you go on the Watchmen for Israel on X, right? I know I just retweeted that.
The one with Benny Johnson.
You said who?
Benny Johnson. I see one from Benny Johnson talking about the list.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the name, but yeah, I got it right here. It's Bricks News. It says United States to release the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs and client list tomorrow. Right, so check that out. I'm gonna go ahead
and the Benny Johnson.
Okay, this guy talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna play this video. This is about 2 million.
You said last week that you have the Epstein file.
Yeah. I didn't tell her to start speaking. So this is the Attorney General to the right, and this is I don't know who this man is. I think he just wanted. Is that Jesse Waters, whatever his name is? But this is Fox News, right? So this person right here, she's the Attorney General of the United States. So let's check this out, right?
Files on your desk is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What?
Now, she just said, this is a few hours ago. Now, what else is tomorrow? Well, let's take a guess, right? It's no sport. Sports may be going on, but is that really important? Or what else? What's the chief thing that's going on tomorrow? Well, tomorrow night, Thursday night at sundown, you have the last new moon of the year. You have the last new moon of the year, right? The end of this year, and it be in the month after, right around April, you will be having the new. It's like the new month of the new year, Abib, right? So, and we understand they don't go off of the calendar, our Hebrew calendar. They go off of a Gregorian calendar. So if you want to even go as based off of their Gregorian calendar, every month so far has been something crazy taking place in this society, in America. January started off with a bang, literally. People blowing up. New Orleans being, people in New Orleans being ran down by a man in a damn truck. You had the Cybertruck explosion that took place over in Las Vegas. You had a bunch of things going on. You had a bunch of airplane crashes, planes crashing in Philly, planes crashing in DC, things happening in all over. You name it, it happened. Always shooters out here. I think they just called another shooter the other day. Another mass shooting the other day. Got a plane that just flipped over. It crashed in Canada. It landed, right? It didn't crash when it was midair or when it just first took off. It was it was landing. They put down the landing wheels, whatever the proper name it is. You could drop it in the comments, right? But I'm gonna call it the landing wheels. Took out the landing wheels off the airplane, and it started to get ready to slow down and get to a stop, and then it flipped over. And that flight was I believe that's Delta Airlines, and that was an all women's flight. All women crew. They said no men allowed. They made videos on TikTok dancing and parading and saying no men allowed. Well, you needed a man to fly that plane that day. It flipped over, caught on fire. They had to get a bunch of people to escape out the side door. No one died, if I'm not mistaken, but there's a lot of injuries, as you would expect for a plane to flip on its head. We went into it last week about 12 different airplanes have crashed this year alone in their Gregorian year, right? Gregorian calendar. We in the second month. So America has kicked off with a bang. How much more does Epstein client list being released on the new moon on Thursday?
Right.
You want to talk about that, King?
Well, let me get a quick precept. Luke chapter 12 and verse 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Now, with Jeffrey Epstein's list, the men of the Lord, man, we could tell they're playing games. They're stalling, they're trying their best to not put it out. The kind of pump faking and saying, it's we got it in the works and we're trying to, like the lady said, we're trying to hide the names and we're trying to protect the people. We all know that they're pump faking, man. But the men of the Lord, we also know on the other end that regardless, this information is going to come out, man. And there's nothing they can do to stop it or to hide it and say, well, oh man, let's try to cover it up. Let's try to cover up all the things that he did. Kind of throw a blanket over it, man. Throw a big sporting event. Hopefully they forget. No, these things are going to come to light, man. Why? Because the Lord, he's exposing the wickedness of Esau. Why? Because they refuse to repent. They refuse to get right. And that's how the Lord made them. So the Lord is going to expose the wickedness, and we're about to see it, like the brother said, on the new moon. For the last month of God's calendar, we're gonna see, this list that they have of Jeffrey Epstein, man. And all the names and things that he was doing, man. So that's gonna be a thing to see, and like the brother said, that's ending it with a bang, and it's spiritual, man. It's spiritual. Seeing the year end with something that's so what's the word, devious and evil, having it end with that, because that just goes to show you that these next upcoming years, Lord willing is not years, but the Lord willing, the time is short in Babylon, but these years are going to be very evil. It's not going to get any better. You're not going to have, well, we ended this year bad, well, Lord willing, we get 2025 better, or 2026 and 2027. No, these years are going to get worse and worse and worse, and evil is going to multiply, man, in the earth. It tells you that. In Matthew the 24th chapter, because iniquity shall abound, the love of man shall wax cold. And let me get another precept, and because you was there, King, let's go back to Daniel 12. The Lord said this in Daniel 12. And we're approaching that time, man. The time of the end. But this is Daniel chapter 12, I'm gonna start at verse 10. Get straight to the point. Sluck, did you read verse 10, King, or only 9?
Con, I did, but you can read it out.
I'm gonna read it one more time. Then it says, "Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand." So the Lord said that there's gonna be wicked men that are gonna continue to do wickedly. That's not just talking about Israel and Jake that wants to eat pork and smoke black and miles, man, and not repent and continue to bow down the rocks and do whatever the hell else they be doing behind closed doors, man. But it's also talking about the other nations. The other nations, they're not gonna repent. They're not gonna say, "Well, hold up, these are the children of Israel. Let's start cleaving to them. Let's start treating them the right way. Let's get them back in the land." No, they're gonna get more wicked, man. The so-called Arab man, he's gonna get more wicked. So-called Indian man, and chiefly the so-called white men, they're gonna get more wicked and more wicked by each day that passes on until we get the hell up out of here, man. So Jeffrey Epstein ending the list of what he was doing, ending off the year the year for God, man. And according to the Bible, that just goes to show you how much more wicked these upcoming years are gonna be. But King, that's all I got.
Con, I want to finish this video out real quick.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well,
along with his co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help. That's for sure.
He sure did.
And he had help. He sure did. Right. So it's very sick what this man did. But hey, those flight logs gonna show you really. I mean, we'll see. We're not gonna say for sure, but we'll see. And I would be very surprised if it's not, a lot of these top celebrities that's here today. Right. A lot of these top celebrities. Right. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jay-Z's name on that list. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying he did it, but I won't be surprised. But nevertheless, there's one other thing I wanted to bring out real quick. So we went on that. We talked about that. This last thing I want to bring out is this is just something else to keep watch over, right? Last thing we checked out was believe last week we touched on again the beast hating the horror, right? The beast hating the horror, which is really these European leaders and nations coming together and overthrowing America, right? As America continues to separate themselves from NATO, right? Under Trump, this administration, prophecy is being fulfilled. And guess what? As you see right here on zerohedge.com, you look this up as well. There's other sources that corroborate this. This is on Monday. Now, there is another source that just came out today. Supposedly Trump and Zelensky, they have this deal that they're going to sign on Friday. Right, there's going to be some type of peace deal as well, really an arms deal for America to continue on and try to orchestrate a new peace plan with Ukraine. But we'll touch on it when it comes out, right? But this is what we have right now through the Spirit. This is what we can say is certain so far because there's other witnesses that corroborate with this. Then they can back out of this. It is what it is. But as of now, Europe is working on plans to send 30,000 troops to Ukraine as Trump talks draw down. So I'm gonna read this real quick, not the full thing. I'm gonna read probably these first two paragraphs. It says European leaders have been urging that the United States must backstop any Ukraine peace deal to prevent the country from being attacked by Russia again. Of course, this means a military backstop. I mean, they want the United States to put troops into Ukraine to help Ukraine out, right? To prevent Russia from what they think expanding into the rest of Europe. Now, America's saying they're not going to do that. So we can brush this off and say, well, why do we care about Ukraine and America? Well, we care because this lines up with a major prophecy that has to happen. What are we talking about? Let's go into it. Right? We touched on it last week. I'm sure, if you've been reading these scriptures as well, you know exactly what we're talking about. But I want to read this in Revelation 11 chapter. This Revelation chapter 11 and verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto the servants, thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So the Lord said the nations will be angry. Why are they angry? Let's go to Revelation chapter 17. So the nations is not just talking about just any nations, right? Let's go into these specific nations. This Revelation chapter 17, and I'm gonna start at let's go to Revelation chapter 17, and I start at 11, right? I start at 12, so like it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, right? Which is going into the EU, right? What you know as NATO, the different countries that work with America, right? The original 10 provinces of Rome, right? Even the European Union started with just 10 members as it expanded over time. Continuing on, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings when our beast, right? They get down with what? America. Now let's jump down. It says, I'll read on. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overthrow them. Right? They're gonna try to fight against Yahushua. They're not going to fight against the Lord. They're going to try to fight against the Lord. You read about that in Revelation 19:11 on down. You also read about that in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. You also read about that in Isaiah, the 19th chapter, the first verse. You also read about that in the book of Micah, the 5th chapter, in the 6th verse on down. So they're going to try to fight against the Lord Yahushua. You also read about that in Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they are with him. It's like they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, and this whore is talking about, is right here in its first verse, is great whore, is who? America. And she sits upon a scarlet colored beast in the 3rd verse, having 7 heads and 10 horns, that beast does, right? Which are going into the European kingdoms that has ruled and is again joined with America as we're reading. Let's read on in verse 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For Yahweh had put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So this hasn't happened yet. This is a major prophecy that must take place for the European nations, NATO, to turn their backs on America. Now, how we seeing this play out right now, it seems like America is turning their back first on NATO, which is causing them to be like, oh, you switch sides on me. Right? You switch sides on me, say no more. I'm going to let Russia do what they got to do. I'm going to let Iran do what they got to do. I'm going to turn a blind eye when we get information from North Korea, them sending a missile. Those things, right, may take place on the earth, but what we do know will happen is that these nations will hate the whore, as it says right there in verse 16. It says, for Yahweh had put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of God shall be fulfilled. So when the Lord's words is fulfilled, when the elect is sealed up, then you're going to see great destruction upon America. When you read Revelation, the 18th chapter, which we're not going to get right now, but you read about the Lord speaking that America's overthrow is going to be in 1 hour. In 1 hour. That's in the 6th verse on down. Did you have anything on that, King, or do you want to continue on?
Nah, we can continue on. You covered that.
Con, all praise to the Most High. So again, I'm gonna just share this one more time. If you want to check this out, you can check out this Zero Hedge, pretty reputable source. They will say. We didn't touch on the whole thing, but you know, you can check this thing out, right? You can check this out. So let's go back to let's go to this, right? I share my screen again, switch this over. Let's go to Second Esdras, the 5th chapter. So if you're just tuning in for the past, I mean, it's been on and off, right? But specifically the last 2 weeks, right? Last week we went into Second Esdras 4, maybe about 3 to 4 weeks before that, because of all the heavy news that was dropping. We had touched on Second Esdras, the 3rd chapter. I may even make a playlist on a Cold Cuts channel to specifically go into the Second Esdras breakdown, right? We do have a playlist on the Cold Cuts channel on all the Watchmen Wednesdays that does need to be updated, but nevertheless, you know, there's a lot of Watchmen Wednesdays on there. But I'll try to make a playlist on all the Second Esdras breakdowns, right? What brothers had deduced through the Spirit, right? Had put together through the Spirit, had reasoned through the Spirit, right? So Most High willing is edifying for you. Let's go into Second Esdras chapter 5 and verse 1. Do you want me to read and you break it down, King, or vice versa?
Con, yeah, I'll do the first part. I'll get in there. Con, and let me know when you want to get in there. I'll read for you.
Con.
Con.
This is Second Esdras chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith.
Con. So well, I won't say it like that, but as we're supposed to know, the tokens, they represent signs. In the scripture, when the Lord says, behold the tokens, and you can read that mainly in Esdras, the Lord is talking about signs. When you break this down. Let's go to Second Esdras. I believe I'm on verse Slakia, chapter 9 and verse 1. We're gonna link
I'm there,
this up.
King.
Khan. I'll read
And
it.
this is
Khan. I'll read it, King. This book of Second Esdras, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that at the very same time, wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So when we read the word tokens, that's another word for the Lord saying sign. These are signs that the Lord is showing Esdras or how the world is going to play out in not how the world, but how the end is going to play out in the world, man. You know, and I believe the brother, he got the word tokens pulled up. You can read that, King. If I can't really see that.
Con, I'm gonna zoom in for you, but
Con, for water.
it says, Con, no doubt. It says tokens, something serving as an indication, proof, or expression of something else, a sign.
Then that's plain right there. Something serving as an indication, proof, or expression, or something else, a sign. You know, it's not talking about an arcade token. You know, you put in a damn skee ball machine and you get damn 7 balls to roll down. You try to throw them in the damn 100 and the 50. It's not talking about that type of token. You know, It's talking about a sign, man. You know, so when the Lord says, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number. So the Lord is giving Esdras a couple signs on what's going to happen in the end times. Why? Because Esdras is asking about that, man. What we covered about in the 4th chapter. You can keep reading, King. Oh, Slaki, can you start at in the way of faith or in the way of truth, Slaki?
It says, shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden.
And the way of truth shall be hidden. What is that talking about? The famine of the world. And that's going to come to pass, man. And the brother, I believe he was going into it before, man. You know, with Daniel 12, man, that's going to happen on a large factor. You know, the way of truth is going to be hidden for a season. You know, it's not going to be, this truth isn't going to be for out there forever, man. You're not always gonna have videos. You're not always gonna have brothers breaking down the chapters on YouTube and on these different channels. You're not gonna have the prophets on the corner. Hey, the way of truth is gonna be hidden, man. And the Lord's gonna cause this understanding to cease from the face of the earth. And it's gonna be a spiritual nighttime, man. Where the prophets don't go out anymore. Where the word's not being broken down anymore. Otherwise known as the famine of the word. Let's get that in Amos. No one the brother can pull it up. I'm gonna go to it.
God, I'm there.
Come.
And it's the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 11.
Thwar. All praises.
Come.
Go ahead, King.
It says, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh.
So we understand there's going to be a famine. You know, there's going to be a physical famine, but also a spiritual famine. What is that spiritual famine? A spiritual hearing of the words of the Lord. A spiritual famine from hearing the words of the Lord, which is what? The truth being hidden. Which is what? The men and the messengers of the Lord not speaking out that message anymore, man. Like you read about in the parable of the 10 virgins in Matthew the 25th chapter, man. If I'm not mistaken. I believe it's Matthew or Slaki.
God, it's Matthew 25.
Matthew. You said what, King?
It's Matthew 25.
Come on, Matthew 25. Calm. When you read about Matthew the 25th chapter, of the 10 virgins, 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. And the 5 that were foolish, they didn't prepare. They didn't get the word while they could get the word. They didn't do the things that need to be done until the time was come. And when they went to go do it, it was too late. And that's going to come on a physical level. We're going to see that, man.
Right.
There's going to be a time where you're not going to see brothers breaking down the word. And in that time, if you're not prepared, you're going to be kind of left out there. So when the Lord says that the way the truth is going to be hidden, it's talking about the famine of the world. So we can go back to that in 2nd Esdras, King.
God. And I want to read this. It says, verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh and shall not find it. So the Lord is going to have, right, again, his word being stopped up in these last days, right? Let's go to another precept. So everyone's not going to be able to, we always go into it, right? You got to get it while it's still hot, right? This is a buffet. It's all you can eat. You can go into and watch videos of your favorite teachers. You can go into you can go on the Cold Cuts channel alone and type up through the spirit, right? Any question you may have or any breakdown you may want. And for the most part, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, brothers have put it on his Cold Cuts channel. And if it's not on this channel, then it's on the main Watchmen for Israel channel. And if it's not on that channel, right, then it's also on the WFI backup channel. And if it's not on that channel, you may get it from a street teaching video. And if it's not from, we don't have it. There's plenty of other camps and congregations that's out there, mighty men who've been laboring many more years than we have, right? They have different breakdowns that you can deduce or, get the understanding of through the spirit. So this is the book of Psalm, chapter 74, and I want to read verse 9. It says, we see not our signs. And we went into the word sign as a token, right? Different things that the Most High is revealing. These prophecies are signs. It says there is no more any prophet. That's going to be the thoughts, Salakia. That's going to be the thoughts that's going to be out in these last days, right? You're going to be seeing that more and more and more. It says we see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. So I want to read this last part again. There is no more any prophet, neither is there any among us that knoweth how long. So you're going to have men that's going to be wondering and questioning, hey, what is going on through the spirit, right? What's happening right now? What time are we living in? Those men that's asking those questions, that's because that wisdom and knowledge was not built up for them. The Lord said, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of thy salvation in Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. So those men, they wasn't really going into the prophecies. They was spending time doing what they wanted to do. They was worrying about the ways of this world. They might have been driven too much into the entertainment, getting down with the ways of Babylon, right? Bread and circus. And in that time, their mind wasn't on the Lord, so it's not, the Most High is not going to have, he's not going to allow them to think about him in that day. They're going to be completely void of understanding, right? The Most High spoke of these days. Let's get another precept. Let's go to Second Esdras, right? It's another precept in Second Esdras, the 6th chapter, right? Really quickly, just to make sure that you understand the days that's approaching on the earth. This is Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then I will show these tokens. The books shall be opened. It's like I think I want to start a little higher. Well, I'll read on. It says, the books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. So the Lord has a time appointed where you're not going to be able to see, his, or get the understanding of Yahweh Bashim El Shai, right? But I want to get that. I think it's later on in this account. Should be later on in this account in Second Esdras. Hey, King, you know that precept I'm thinking of through the Spirit?
What you thinking about?
It should be in Second Esdras, the 6th chapter. Going into, where is that at? Might be overlooking it.
What's it going into, Ken?
The topic we're going into right now, the Most High withdrawing his understanding from the earth.
Oh, that's Second Esdras 5, Ken.
No. Oh yeah, you're right. It's 5 and
verse 5 and verse 9.
8. Yeah,
or 8.
Con.
Yeah, calm. Yeah.
I'm gonna get that real quick. The Second Esdras chapter 5 and verse 9. And salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall. And real quick, and we'll touch on this, right? But I want to get this. We'll touch on this whole verse, but I want to get this last part. And salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his chamber. So the Lord said, wit is going to hide itself, and understanding is going to withdraw itself into his secret chamber. So the Most High is going to shut up the wisdom and understanding from the world, right? He's going to close it up and seal it up from the world, because what? The world was being foolish with the time that we have right now, right? Lord willing, we're not a part of that, right? But we can continue on, King. Second Esdras.
Come.
Second Esdras chapter 5 and verse number 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago.
And that's what we was calling before in Matthew the 24th chapter, man. The Lord said, iniquity shall abound, and the love of many shall wax cold, man. And also what we read in Daniel the 12th chapter, man, that the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. The times that we're going into, they're only going to get worse, man, according to God, man, according to Yahweh Bashim El Shai. If you're looking for peace, or if you're looking for comfort or a good time or whatever, I mean, you're not in the right place, man. You're not in the right place. As a man of God, as a man of Yahweh Shem Shai, a woman of the Lord, you have to be prepared for what's coming on the earth. And what's coming on the earth is going to be, for lack of better terms, I'm just going to say it's evil. It's going to be an evil time. Like the Lord said, a time that's bearing the faith, man. A time where you're being tested. A time where you're being thrown in the fiery furnace, man. Like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter. Sirach, the 2nd chapter. Men are going to be thrown in the furnace. And they're going to be tempted and tested, by these damn devils that are going to be running amok. Why? Because, we were giving in the hand, for a season. But you can keep reading, Ken.
Reading on. Verse 3. It says, in a land that thou seest now to have root, shalt thou see wasted suddenly.
And let's get a quick precept. Let's go to 1 John, the classic. 1 John, the 2nd chapter, And we can go to verse 17. The Lord said, "The land that thou see that have root shall be so I don't want to misquote it.
I'll
I'll
read it
read it
again.
real quick. No, it's all good. I got it, King. Second Esdras 5 and verse 3. And the land that thou seest now that have root, shall thou see wasted suddenly. The Lord said that the land that we see right now is going to be wasted suddenly. Meaning at the time it's going to come quick. It's going to overthrow a lot of people because it's not going to come in the span of 50 years. And the Lord's giving you 50 years to prepare the destruction to come, man. No, this destruction is going to happen swiftly and it's going to happen. Let's go to 1 John 2 and 17. Classic.
And this is First John chapter 2 and verse 17. And the world passeth away,
And when you
and
read
the
that,
lust thereof.
Slaki, and when you read that in the spirit, you can understand that it's not talking about just the land that Ezra was standing on. You know, just that one land right there, that one piece of land, and the Lord's going to send a forest fire on it. No, it's talking about the world on a deeper level, the world that we see that's going on right now, the world that we're inhabiting is going to be laid waste suddenly. You can read from the top, King Baba Shah.
And this is First John 2 and 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever.
And the Lord said the world's going to pass away, and it's going to pass away suddenly. Let's go to the book of Second Peter, the 3rd chapter. And we can start at verse I'll say 10.
And it's the book of Second Peter, chapter 3 and verse 10. But the day of Yahweh,
Sluggy, we can start at verse 9.
verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
So the Lord's
As
not gonna be Sluggy. The Lord, he's not gonna be slack, concerning the judgments he puts upon on the face of the earth. Some men might count as slackness. Oh, he took 5 years. These 5 years, let's say it's quote unquote 5 years. Those 5 years are gonna go by very quickly, man. If it's 3 years, if it's 2 months, it's gonna overthrow a lot of people, man. It's not gonna give people the chance to get ready, to prepare themselves. They start building a nuclear fort as soon as the war kicks off, man. This thing is gonna happen very quickly, man. It's gonna overthrow the land and a lot of people in the land. Keep reading, Ken.
right here, quick point too. We're already about to be in a so-called month of March.
Right.
Right. It seemed like it was just a few weeks ago. It was a so-called New Year for this society. Now you're already damn near in March, in about 2-3 days.
Right.
So time is speeding up.
And King, with all the things that happen, man, all the wickedness, all the evil, all the destruction that happened, these things they come quick, man. Point of view from one of the people that got caught in all this. One moment you're at home, the next week you're on a plane and you're dead, deceased, like that, man. So that's how the events that the Lord is gonna bring upon the world is gonna happen, man. 1 minute you're smoking a double rolled up blunt with tobacco on it. You're chilling. You stop following the Lord. You stop keeping the commandments. You took your fringes off. One moment you do that, man, and the next moment you're dying in Jacob's trouble, man. There's a damn nuke flying through your damn house, man. That's what's gonna happen to a lot of men. They're gonna get overthrown. They're not gonna know what hit them. They're gonna be scratching their damn head, man. What the hell happened, man? That's what's gonna happen. You can keep reading, okay?
Gone. It says concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
Now here's the point.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up.
So the day of the Lord is going to be as a thief in the night. I mean, it's going to overthrow a lot of men that aren't watching, a lot of men that aren't preparing their souls, a lot of men that stop repenting, that stop believing on the Lord, that stop having faith, that said, I'm going to go back in the world for this one quick minute, and maybe I'll come out right before the Lord comes back. Those men are going to get overthrown. So the day of the Lord coming as a thief of the night is going to overturn and destroy this world that we're in right now and overthrow. But we can go back to Second Esdras, King.
Con. I want to get one last precept.
Con.
Let's go to Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1. Isaiah 24. Con.
This is book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. So like he scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof.
Right. So the Lord is going to make the whole earth empty and make it waste. So again, the things that Ezra seen, right, Isaiah seen. The things Isaiah seen, John has seen. The things that John has seen, Peter seen. Because this is the testimony of Yahweh Shai through these men. These men are all able to prophesy because the word of the Lord is given to those men. Right? So you got certain men that say certain men, you don't have to listen to certain men. Oh, yeah, he went off. You got to listen to him. Brother, are we supposed to listen to you, though, brother? It makes no sense. These men have the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. So what they're telling us we must do. We must take it because these are the words of the Lord. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science, right? Don't get caught up in the seducing words and the things of this society and the Greek understanding and going into this and going into that. Hey, keep it simple. Hey, the Most High about to destroy this world, and he told Isaiah, and he told Ezra, and he told John, and he told Daniel, and he told all these prophets, all these men of the Lord, because these words were given to them, the words of life. So these men have they're ordained by Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. They have authority by Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai to teach and preach his word to us. So when we read these scriptures and we get the understanding, we know how to conduct ourselves in these last days. Right? We can go back to it, okay?
Come on.
Second Ezra chapter 5 and verse 4. Second Ezra chapter 5 verse 4. It says, but if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day.
And that's parabolical talk. The sun and the moon is talking about the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High, right, coming back on the earth again. Let's get a quick precept on that. Let's go to the book of Micah. I believe I'm on 7 and verse 4.
Whenever you're ready, King.
You can read it, King.
And this is Micah chapter 7 and verse 4.
Slakia, Micah 3 and 6.
It's
not 7 and 4. Slakia, Micah 3 and verse 6.
And it's the book of Micah chapter 3 and verse 6. And it reads, therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision.
That what?
And it shall that ye shall not have a vision.
And the Lord said, and this is the Lord preparing judgment against Israel, for all the wickedness that they were doing. When you read the book of Micah, he said, therefore night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision. When it's nighttime, it's dark. You can't see anything. There's no light shining. The Lord equated not having a vision, not having any direction or words of the Lord as a nighttime, as spiritual darkness, man. So let's keep reading, King.
It says, and it shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine. And the sun shall go down over the prophets.
And the Lord said, and the Lord said, the sun shall go down over the prophets. Meaning that he's going to take away the wisdom and the knowledge and his word from the prophets. So they can't prophesy a vision, man. So they can't prophesy what the words of the Lord, what the Lord wants on the earth for his people, man. So when the Lord says that the sun is being taken away, he's talking about the wisdom, the knowledge, the things that we need to direct us in this dark world, man. Why? Because this word is a light. Let's get that Baruch, the 4th chapter. This word is a light, man. Baruch 4, and we're gonna start at verse. We can start at verse 1, just to get the context.
And it's the
So
book of Baruch.
This word and this knowledge is light. Go ahead, King.
And this is Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, and the law that endure forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take heed of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated.
So the Lord said that this book, this book of commandments, is our light. It's our light. And he said to take hold of this light and to walk therein, that we may be illuminated. Meaning that we can see and direct ourselves in the nighttime, man. So when the Lord said, let's go back to that in 2nd Esdras. Let's go back to that in 2nd Esdras.
And this is 2nd Esdras chapter 5 and verse 4. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the 3rd trumpet, that the sun shall be suddenly, that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day.
Meaning that the Lord's going to bring back the wisdom and the knowledge back on the earth.
Right.
Why? Through redeeming his prophets. Why? Through redeeming his men and his women and bringing them out of this dark world. Let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras real quick. 2nd Esdras 7 and verse, let's start at verse 26. And the Lord, he touches on this, man. Go ahead, King.
And this is 2nd Esdras. And this is 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and verse 26. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass. And the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen.
Slakia, 2nd Esdras 6. It should be 6.
And it's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 26. You want 26?
You can start at 27.
27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish.
As for faith, it shall flourish. And what?
Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which had been so long without fruit shall be declared.
And the Lord said that the truth is going to come back on the face of the earth. That was so long without fruit shall be declared. Meaning that this sun is going to shine again, and the moon thrice in the night. Meaning that the wisdom, knowledge, faith, understanding, and most importantly, the truth is going to come back on the face of the earth, man. After all these things happen. That's why he told Ezra, if you can live out this time, man, you're going to see the good that's going to come back on the earth, man. The wisdom that's going to come back on the earth. The knowledge. But we can go back to 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, King. Let's hear the precept.
Salaki. Yeah, I did have a quick precept, right? So like the brothers going into, let's go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 5 real quick. And I want to get one precept right after this. The 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse number 4. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the 3rd trumpet. Right? There's going to be a lot of destruction on the earth, like you read in the previous verse. Right? The land's going to be suddenly wasted. It's not going to be a lot of men left on the earth. When you go into Revelation, the 16th chapter, really Revelation, the 8th and 9th chapters, is going into the different trumpets. Right? The 7 trumpets that take place after the 7th seal, or during the 7th seal. Once the 7th seal opens up, the 7 trumpets in succession will continue to go off. Now the Lord is saying, after the destruction of the earth, if the Lord had granted you to live and see, right, to be able to have eyes to see and ears to hear, that's because you're a part of the elect. That's what the Lord said, that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night and the moon thrice in the day. We understand, based off those other precepts we went into, the sun and the moon is going to be confounding for the rest of the world. So if the Lord allows you to see after all hell was breaking loose, well, you were elected to be at that position where you're at in that time, right? I'm going to get this real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 30. Then the moon shall be confounded and the sun ashamed when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem and before his ancients gloriously, right? This physically will take place, right? Meaning the Lord, the nations will be, confounded, especially when you read it in context. They'll be confounded once they're in captivity. Yahweh Shai is ruling over the earth. But, right, in the days approaching, the world in general is going to be confounded. The wisdom of this world is going to be taken out the earth, right? They're not going to know what the hell to do. They're going to go into their underground bunkers and not know and not have any succor, right? Bombs are still going to be dropping and hitting those bunkers. All the stocking up and preparing that they did is not going to work. It's going to be to none avail, right? The Lord spoke about that in Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, that they told the rocks to hide them, right, from the Lord. And Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua is still going to get up with them. Those missiles still going to reach those underground bunkers. It's not going to do nothing for them. So they're going to be confounded and shaking and trembling. And all the wisdom of this world is going to be nothing worth. But the elect, right? I want to get this precept in Matthew chapter 13. The elect, they're going to be able to see in that time, right? Because they were chosen. This is Isaiah, so this is St. Matthew chapter 13, and I'm going to start at 43. St. Matthew 13, 43. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who had ears to hear, let him hear. So they'll be able to shine forth. Why? Because when a world is being destroyed and devoured, and guess what? The righteous, which is the elect, they'll shine forth. So they'll be able to see in that day because they'll be illuminated because they trusted in the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Right? We can go back to it, King. And whenever you want to switch off too, I can hop in there too.
Con, you want to hop in there?
Con,
we do it 5 for 5.
Con, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. All right,
well,
verse 5.
Well, yeah, Con, you can. Well, we'll go after this one. This kind of ties into the next part, and then I'll get the 5 after that. Con.
So this the book is 2nd Esdras, chapter 5.
Con, you
got it.
I got you, Ken. Yeah. 2nd Esdras 5 and verse 5. And the blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled.
Right. So the Lord said, Salakia, the Lord said the blood shall drop out of the wood. This is not literal, right? But when you go into, let's go to, get a quick precept, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 9. Right. I want to get Revelation chapter 9, and you can start at verse, let's see where I want to start at. Revelation chapter 9, and actually I might want the 8th chapter. Revelation chapter 8. Let's go there. Revelation chapter 8, and you can start at 7.
Come, Revelation chapter 8 and verse 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. And they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up.
Right. So when the Lord brings his judgment on the world, all of the earth is going to be burned up. The Lord said, and fire mingled with blood. There's not going to be literally fire mingled with blood sent out in the earth. But when the fire consumes this world, what is going to be left? Nothing but blood. And when the Lord consumes or throws his fire or casts his fire on the earth, it says the third part of trees, you get wood from trees, was burned up, and all green grass is burned up. So when the Lord brings judgment and destruction upon the earth, it's going to be as what we just read in 2nd Esdras, right? The 5th chapter. I want to go back to it, right? 2nd Esdras chapter 5 and verse 5. And blood shall drop out of the wood, right? It's not literal. It's not saying that they're going to crack open a tree and blood's going to be issuing out. No, it's talking about man being destroyed on the earth. And it also said, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled. Now, who's this stone talking about? It's talking about a rock that's actually just speaking, right, and talking? No, it's talking about the Lord Yahweh Shai.
Right.
A key. Let's go to the book of 1 Peter chapter 2.
Come.
And you can start at 4.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4.
Start at 3.
And come 3. If so be ye, it's okay. If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Yahweh and precious.
Right.
Ye,
So real quick, so Yahweh Shai, and the Lord say he's gracious. The Lord laying down his life for us to be able to believe and be partakers of his word, right? Partakers of his truth and his hope. Hey, the Lord is like a living stone. He's a living stone. Right? When you're building something, right, you need stone, you need different material to build. And the Lord is saying when you build with Yahweh Shai. That's a true building.
right,
Yahweh Shai is the temple of the Most High. Us being with Yahweh Shai, we're also the temple of the Lord. It says this and allowed indeed of men, meaning the Lord didn't allow every man to be partakers with Yahweh Shai. That's why you have something known as reprobates, castaways, reprobate silver, as the Lord says in Jeremiah the 6th chapter. Men that were disallowed, not allowed to be able to call upon Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. You can't call on Yahweh and not call on the Son. You can't call on Yahweh Shai and you don't believe in the Father. So the Lord said, these men that don't believe in the Father in the name of the Son, they're disallowed indeed. Meaning there is no access to the Father. There's no access to immortality. These men will be cut off in his life. Right? It says, but chosen of God and precious. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he's indeed, actually, King, let's jump to verse 6. Right?
come. Verse 6. Wherefore also is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
Right. So the Lord said that he lays in Zion a chief cornerstone. It is written in Isaiah. And the Lord, Yahweh Shai, he's that chief cornerstone. And the Lord said, those that believe on him shall not be confounded. So when you go back to 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, right? Now we can get the context. It says, and the blood shall drop out of the wood, and the stone shall give his voice. So destruction is going to be happening. And guess what? The stone is going to give his voice. Yahweh Shai is going to give his voice. When all hell is breaking loose, Yahweh Shai is going to be on the scene. It says, and the people shall be troubled. You can read on, King.
And even he shall rule whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth, and the fowls shall take their flight away together.
Right. Let's go to St. Matthew. St. Matthew chapter 24 and 29.
And this book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And
Right.
then come.
So, well, you got it. You can read on.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Right. So when you read this, the Lord said immediately after the tribulation of those days. That tribulation is the 5th seal. So after the 5th seal and the 6th seal mentioned on the earth, and Yahweh Shai is coming on the scene. Right? He could come anywhere between, and he doesn't know what time he's coming on the scene, but he knows it's going to be after the tribulation of those days. That's what he does know. Right? The Lord said, no man knoweth the day nor hour. When you read in Revelation, the 14th chapter, there was an angel that was in the heavens that was given a charge from the Most High to tell Yahweh Shai, hey, thrust in thy sickle and reap. Let's get that precept real quick, actually. Can you go to Revelation chapter 14?
Yeah.
Right, real quick. Revelation 14, and we can start at, I believe I want 15.
Come.
You
Revelation
can start at 14.
Come. Revelation 14, verse 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud One sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle.
You can read on, King.
Come. Verse 15. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe.
Right. So you had an angel come to Yahweh Shai and tell him, look, now it's time to thrust in your sickle and reap. Right? Because the Most High knows the day and hour. That's the time that he has appointed on the earth. So the Most High is going to give that charge to Yahweh Shai, and he did so in that vision via an angel. So when we go back to 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, the tribes of the earth, the nations, the men, they're going to mourn. They're going to be in trouble. But guess what? The elect is not going to mourn. They're going to be in mourning because that's the overthrow of their society. But guess what? It's the beginning of ours.
Right.
So we can read verse 7, King.
Verse 7. And the Sodomite sea shall cast out fish, and make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof.
Now, real quick, this Sodomitish sea, I want to get this account, but I want to get it in another translation, right, to show. So this Sodomitish sea is not talking about literally a water that's effeminate, right, or
Right.
sodomite.
Right.
No, but when you go into this, right, it's really talking about the Dead Sea. Now the Dead Sea, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna read this. The 2nd Ezra chapter 5, in verse 7, out the GNT, it says, "Fish will be washed up on the shores of the Dead Sea. The voice of one." Right, and where's the Dead Sea? It's over near the land of Israel, right? What you know as the Middle East. What's going to be taking place in the Middle East? You got World War III, the height and peak of World War III, the Battle of Armageddon taking place over there. So you're going to have men dying, right? You're going to have sea life dying. You have a destruction upon the land. It says the voice of one whom many do not know. That's talking about Yahweh Shai. Will be heard at night. Then the Lord says he's come as a thief in the night, meaning not literally in the nighttime, but when man least expects it. Remember, night is symbolic with darkness, right? Darkness being without understanding, right? We know that the law is a light in the book of Proverbs, the 6th chapter, the 23rd verse. And we know Yahweh Shai, he's that true light, right? The word is light, right? Yahweh Shai is the word. Therefore, men is not going to know about Yahweh Shai because they was in darkness because the Lord didn't choose them to know about him. It says everyone will hear it. They're all going to see and perceive Yahweh Shai coming in the clouds of glory. Like it read in Matthew, the 24th chapter, and the 30th verse on down. Like you read in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7, many eyes shall see him, right? In Revelation chapter 1 and verse number 7, right? So I wanted to show that, right? Let's brothers get jammed up thinking that water can be gay.
Right.
I think somebody said that before. One of those whistleblowers said that the frogs are turning gay. Right? That's not what it's not a sodom. That's not what it's talking about right there. Right? But let's continue on. Verse 8.
Verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
Right. And during that time, that whole account 8 on down is just showing you the confusion that's going to be taking place. So one of the things is that you're going to have wild beasts, given that there's an overthrow and things that's natural and in order, right, according to the ways of this world right now, is going to be overthrown. Wisdom is going to be overthrown. Man is going to act as back in their primitive state. They're going to be going into houses, ravaging, taking what they want, right? People are going to lose their minds in that day. So much more the wild beast who may be naturally in certain habitats and certain areas of the earth, they're going to be changing their places as the world is out of course. Even much more, menstruous women, right? Women, they're going to be bringing forth monsters. Not saying they're going to have damn sea monsters and they're gonna be bringing forth damn Bigfoot. That's not what it's talking about, right? It's talking about women are gonna be bringing forth men in those days, and even the days that we in right now, who are demons, who are monsters, who are killers, men that's completely outside of the natural order. We see this right now specifically with Israelite women, right? Those that's in the world, right? Eve that's in the world, they're bringing forth young. They call them the YNs, right? They call them the YNs. They got the Pooh Shiesty mask on, right? They're out here, damn robbing, right? Damn taking Kia vehicles, right? Damn jamming up old ladies. They're out here. They're wild, right? So the Most High is saying in those days, everything is going to be completely out of course. Everything is going to be completely out of order, right? Whether again the wild beasts, whether again confusion and wisdom and understanding being taken out the earth. Even in verse 9, I'm gonna read this really quickly, King. It says, "And salt waters shall be found in the sweet." Right. So normally, and even on a natural geographic sense, right? You don't have salt waters mixed in with sweet. You have bodies of water that's salt, and you have other bodies of water known as fresh water. In that day, the Lord is saying is going to be a mixing amongst the water. But what that's really saying on a spiritual level is that what is once sweet, right, to you, as far as water, which is the wisdom and understanding of the Lord, and the Lord said instead of that is going to be found salt water. You can't naturally drink salt water. So the understanding of the Most High, right? And I'm gonna show you this real quick. That this is what this is talking about, because we know that the wisdom of the Lord is also known as water, right? And we should know this, but let's go to it, right? Maybe someone that's new, right, may not know. Let's bring this out. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 15 and verse 3. It says, "With the bread of understanding shall she feed him and give him the water of wisdom to drink." So wisdom is known as water, right? Let's get another precept. Let's go to Sirach chapter 1. Sirach chapter 1, and I think I want 29. No, that's not what I want. I want 29. Sirach chapter 1, and I want 19. It says, "Wisdom raineth down skill and knowledge of understanding, and exalteth them to honor that hold her fast." So wisdom again is likened unto woman. I want to get one last precept. If you got one, King, you can bring it out. But I'm gonna get this last.
I got. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, King.
No, go ahead. You got it.
No, I have a previous point, but you got it, King.
Okay, Con. I'm gonna get this last precept. This St. John chapter 15 and verse 3. It says, "Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you." So you're made clean on a physical level when you go take a shower. You're not clean by just taking baby wipes and wiping it over you. You're not clean by taking paper towels and just scrubbing your skin. And you're clean when you go in that water, right? Even on a law sense, when we go into the law, to be clean ceremonially, you have to be submerged in water. How much more the wisdom of the Lord on a spiritual level? So again, the wisdom of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, which is the word of the Lord, that's water. But you got it, King.
Con. So like Lord willing. And this is a previous point to your verse 7. I was trying to find this before with the sodomite seed, just so man can understand. Because like the brother said, it's not talking about effeminate seed. You know, when you understand geography, you know, the land of Sodom, it was located right on the Dead Sea. You know, let's show Akim that. You know, right here. Like the brother said, the easiest way is to go into the Slakia. Easiest way, I don't know if I can kind of blow this up. Oh yeah, right here. The easiest way would be to go through the different translation. But if you do a little bit of searching, you know that Sodom was located right on the Dead Sea. You know, so I was the Lord, you know, using for lack of better terms, hip talk or another word to describe the Dead Sea.
Right.
You know, we know it's talking about the Dead Sea. But
And King,
that's
if you don't
Slocky, go
mind,
ahead. King.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say if you can hold that image right there.
Slocky. Let me go right back to it.
There's another point to be made on that too, right? That's and we got to go into sometimes when you read, you want to if you don't understand a particular thing, you want to isolate that verse and go into the geography, like the brother showing you right here. You can go into another translation to get a more modern day sense or terminology to it. But as you see right there, it says Dead Sea. But another word for the Dead Sea is a salt sea.
Right.
So as we looking into the Sodomite Sea, which is literally the Dead Sea, it's also known as a salt sea. And when you read verse 9, it's still going on from verse 7. It says, "And
Right.
salt waters shall be found in the sweet." So on a spiritual level, we just broke it down. But on a physical level, we see that the Lord is speaking of the Sodomite Sea, right? Which is the salt sea, which is also known as the Dead Sea. And man, showing how a man is they're not gonna be able to drink of this water as you wasn't able to drink of that Dead Sea in times past. Even on a spiritual level, if the wisdom of the Lord is known as the sweet waters, and this salt sea, which is the Dead Sea, we know when you're dead, you don't have any wisdom within you. You don't have the spirit of the Lord within you. Right? There's men that's dead right now. They're walking dead bodies. But those that have the wisdom of the Lord, the word of the Lord, that sweet water within them, they're living. So there's just another way to, look into it. It's really not that deep, but you can, put that understanding together through the spirit. But
Right.
daughter.
And King, I'll get into right after 10 because
Con.
I know this goes into your point.
Slakia.
Con.
Verse verse 9. You can finish that up.
Yeah, verse 9. And salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into a secret chamber.
Right.
And shall be Slakia.
Real quick, I was gonna say, and we went into this a little bit earlier. Wit hiding itself, wisdom and understanding withdrawing itself into a secret chamber. It's not gonna be for everyone to be able to access, right? The Lord said in Isaiah the 55th chapter, right? Which I'll get it real quick. I might not pull it on the screen. I'll pull it on the screen really quickly. Right? We understand that we gotta go and get the wisdom while we can, while the Lord is still found. Right? He's not gonna be found for much longer. You're not just going, you can't just the Lord's not waiting on you. You got to remember that. This is Isaiah 55, verse 6. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Right? So you want to make haste on that. Don't just take your time and tarry and do what you want to do, thinking that the Lord is on your time. Right? Like the door is at, he's sitting in your living room, you're getting dressed. But hold on, Lord, give me a second. Right? You know I wasn't ready yet. No, hey, you're gonna be destroyed in that house. Let those words be uttered out of your mouth, you're gonna be destroyed. Right? Let those thoughts be in your mind, and you're gonna be destroyed. Men do that when they see that the society is going back to how it once was before COVID, right? When money is able to be easily attainable and you're kind of prospering in society. You got Trump back in office. Don't take your mind off the wisdom of the Lord unless it hides itself and you get caught out there. You and Donald Trump. Right, but you can go back to verse 10, King.
Con.
Oh, actually, I'm reading.
So,
Right?
yeah, Bible Shop, I can get in there.
Con. Verse 10. And shall be sought of many. It's like the second Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 10. And shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth.
Con, the same theme, like we're going into, the truth and truth, faith, and the understanding of the Lord is going to be hid. It's not going to be out there. And in return of that, inconsistency or sin and evil doings is going to be multiplied upon the face of the earth. Whenever the works of the Lord goes away, that's when evil comes on the face of the earth. Let me get a quick precept in Habakkuk, the classic. Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 4. Whenever the law of the Lord the understanding of the Lord is ceased from the face of the earth, only evil comes out of that, man. Only evil. Habakkuk 1 and verse 4.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 4. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth.
So when the law of the Yahweh Shai is slacked, when there's no men prophesying against the wickedness, no men standing up for the Lord against the wickedness, that's when that's when they start to compass about the righteous, man. And that's going to happen on the chief level, during these times that we're talking about, man. During these times, the wicked, they're going to compass about the righteous, and it's going to feel like the righteous are getting shut out, that they're not here anymore. And only the wicked are going to be, the wicked are going to be running amok amongst the world, man. And it's only going to get worse and worse. This is what we're reading about in Esdras, man. But we can go right back to that, King.
Come. And this is second Ezra chapter 5 and verse number 11. One land shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous going through thee? And it shall
you can finish out, King.
And it shall say no.
And that's not obviously that's not physical talk, but there's gonna be a spiritual looking for the truth, man. For the words of God in all the lands. Men are gonna be seeking out the prophets, man. And like we was reading before, no man is gonna be able to find them, man. Why? Because men are gonna let's go to a quick precept in Zechariah the 8th chapter. Let's start at Zechariah 8, and I want to start verse 23 and get straight to the point. Men are gonna seek out the words of God, man. And they're gonna understand what's going on, when all hell is really, really breaking loose. Let's bring this out, Zechariah 8, I'll say 23.
And this is Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 23. Thus said the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that Yahweh is with you.
And they're gonna try to go with us. Men that are doing wickedly, they're gonna try to go with us. Why? Because they understand that the Lord is with us, man. A lot of men are gonna seek after the truth. They're gonna understand in the ways that they're doing. They're gonna understand that they're wrong. When you read Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, man. When all hell is breaking loose, they're dying, and the men of the Lord are being preserved, man. The men of the Lord are being held back from the destruction, man. The men of the Lord, they're thriving and they're falling. Men are going to start to realize that, man. And when you hear and when you read 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter right here, the lands are going to be saying, the people of the land, they're going to say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous, which is talking about the law and the wisdom, has it gone through your land? They're going to be clawing after it. They're going to be searching abroad, and they won't be able to find this, man. Why? Because the wisdom is going to hide itself, like we read in verse 9 and verse 8 before. But let's keep reading on 2nd Ezra 5, King.
And this is 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 12. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper.
Meaning the men of the world, they're not going to prosper in anything that they do. Anything. Why? Because they're doing it without the Spirit of the Lord. The Lord said in Zechariah, the 4th chapter, he said, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit. So men, they're going to be trying to do things on a carnal level. They might try to build bunkers. They might try to farm land. They might try to get arms and overthrow something and do this. But these men are not going to prosper. Why? Because the Lord's going to have a hit against those type of men, a spiritual hit, where all the things that they do is going to come to naught. We're going to jump into 2nd Ezra 16 a little bit, to show that, we're kind of like a preview. But let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and we're going to start at verse Slaki, I want something particular. Let's start at verse 41.
Con. And this is second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 41. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupied merchandise as he that had no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein.
Meaning men are going to be trying to do things on a carnal level. And the Lord's providing different scenarios and saying these men can build and they can try to build, but hey, look, when they build, they're not going to dwell therein. So they can build a bunker and they're not going to dwell therein. And Khan, you can jump to verse 45. That's the point.
Verse
See the
45.
different scenarios. Go ahead, King.
Con. It says, and therefore they that labor in vain.
They're going to labor in vain in those days, man. Men are doing it carnally. Men that despise the words of God and want to do it their own way. These men are going to be laboring in vain. Meaning everything they do is going to come to naught, and the word of the Lord is going to be the thing that stands at the end of the day. But let's go back to 2 Ezra 5.
And this is second Ezra chapter 5 and verse 13. To show thee such, it's like it. I believe it's where we're at. To show thee such tokens, I have leave, and if thou wilt pray again and weep as now and fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things.
And that's playing. He's telling Ezra to fast 7 more days, and to still weep, and he's gonna bring Ezra more visions and understanding. Keep going, Ken.
Verse 14. Then I awaked, and an extreme fearfulness went through all my body, and my mind was troubled, so that it fainted. You want to pick up reading in verse 15?
Well, is that 5 right there?
Yeah, Con.
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah, I got it, Ken. Verse 15. So the angel that was come to talk with me held me, comforted me, and set me upon my feet. And in the second night it came to pass that Salathiel, the captain of the people, came unto me, saying, where hast thou been? And why is thy countenance so heavy?
And real quick, when you go into who this man is, he's actually the father of Zerubbabel. And when you go into the history, we know that Zerubbabel and Ezra was around during the same time, right? They were contemporaries through the Spirit. When you go to Matthew, St. Matthew chapter 1 and 16, it speaks of this man. Actually, I think I want to say Matthew chapter 1. I wrote this down, right? St. Matthew chapter 1 and let me see. Right? I think I'm overlooking it. Oh, it's like verse 12, not 16, verse 12.
Oh.
St. Matthew 1 and verse 12.
It
says, Con.
Matthew 1 and 12. And after they were brought to Babylon, Jeconias begat Salathiel, and Salathiel begat Zerubbabel.
Right. So that's the man it's speaking of, right? It's speaking of this man right there, who's actually one of the captains during his time. Zerubbabel was actually the governor during his time, right? So when you go back into it, go back to second Esdras. It's just speaking of this man that the Lord is saying came to Ezra, right? You can read verse 17.
Verse 17. Knowest thou not that Israel is committed unto thee in the land of the captivity?
And you got to think about this. Ezra wasn't just a regular, not to say there's regular Israelites, but you got to understand, as you always know, there's greater and there's lesser, right? Read about that in Matthew, the 5th chapter, and I believe it was 17 on down, right? Where the Lord says, those that teach in Israel, right, and keeping the laws, they're going to be known as greater in the kingdom of heaven, and those that's not doing it will be lesser in the kingdom of heaven. So you always had that understanding. So Ezra, he was higher up. You have this man who's a captain of the people and whose son is a governor of the people, but he's still going to Ezra and saying, look, Israel's committed unto you. The prophecies that Ezra was receiving, the visions he was receiving, they were so heavy and important that it says that Israel was committed unto Ezra. And let alone was he a priest during his time as well, right? But you can read on, King.
Up then and eat bread, and forsake us not, as a shepherd that leaveth his flock in the hands of cruel wolves.
And that's
Then,
always been that's always been a thing where there will be, understanding that, on a parabolic level, wolves and sheep, right? Sheep and wolves. Right? The wolves is those that's not leading Israel and taking care of Israel. Right? The shepherds is those that leading Israel in righteousness. The sheep is Israel. So for you men that are teachers, right? Fathers, right? Husbands, you're a leader. And as leaders, as shepherds of the Lord's sheep, you can't just forsake the Lord's sheep. When you forsake the Lord's sheep, hey, you got cruel wolves that will be grievous, and they're going to come in and vex the church. Even Paul spoke about that in Acts, the 20th chapter and the 28th verse. So you got to be mindful of the sheep, right? You got to be mindful of the position that the Most High has given you, right? It's not a light calling. You can read on, King.
then said I unto him, Go thy ways from me, and come not nigh me. And he heard what I said and went from me.
Con, I think you got to pick up actually. Verse,
Well, yeah, Con.
Con, I believe, yeah, that's it. Verse 20. And so I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, like as Uriel, the angel, commanded me.
Uriel the archangel. Keep reading,
Right.
King.
And after 7 days, so it was that the thought to my heart were very grievous unto me again. And my soul recovered the spirit of understanding. And I began to talk with the Most High again. And said, O Yahweh, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine.
So, and this is one of our, I'll say for a lot of brothers, is one of our favorite accounts in Ezra, where Ezra will name all the favorite things, or how the Lord gets down. When you read the Bible, the Lord, he plays favorites, and the brother was kind of just going into it. You have greater and you have lesser. You have chiefer and you have
Minor.
lesser again.
Right.
You have a order and a pecking order and a choosing from the Lord himself, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Not everything is just made equal. Stop letting the so-called white man just bewitch you and beguile you and cause you to be drunk to make things seem like everything is equal, man. Oh, we all bleed red. Every tree's the same. All animals are the same. And now they're saying, damn, all lives matter, man. Like, don't let Esau beguile you, man. The Lord, he has a pecking order. And like I said, this is one of brother's favorite accounts, man. Where we can read about all the things that all the things that the Lord loves, man, and loves above all, with us being included in that. But we can keep reading, King.
Verse 24. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit.
Now, the land that it's talking about is Israel or Jerusalem. The pit, when you hear the word pit, it just means land. That's when you get the term, when you read Revelation, the bottomless pit. It's not talking about a giant hole that's bottomless. And you just jump down it and go all the way down. Pit in the scriptures, it means land. It means a land mass. So when it says that the Lord has chosen thee one pit, it means that he's chosen one land. He chose that land above all. And it's talking about Israel. Keep reading, King.
Come on, reading on. It says, and of all the flowers thereof, one lily.
One lily.
And
It's
of all the
talking about,
depths of the sea, thou hast...
it's lucky. I'm supposed to get in
like, you got
there.
it.
Yeah, Con. Verse 25. If all the depths of the sea thou hast filled thee one river, and if all builded cities thou hast hollowed Zion unto thyself, and if all the fowls that are created thou hast named thee one dove, and of all the cattle that are made thou hast provided thee one sheep, and among all the multitudes of people thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest thou givest them a law that is approved of all.
Right. And real quick, like the brother was going into earlier, the Lord made many people, right? He created everybody. He created every dove or every bird, created every animal. He created multiple different seas and rivers, made multiple different lands, multiple different uh, wood or trees, things of that nature. But the Lord has a favorite, and it is what it is. You can't cry about what the Lord chose. He chose what he chose. And he chose us. Now you should love that because the Lord loves that. You can read on, King.
Come. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over unto many? And upon the one root hast thou prepared others. And why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many?
Right?
And they which did gainsay thy promises and believed not thy covenants had trodden them down.
Right. And we understand that our people have gainsaying the promises of the Lord. And they trodden down the covenants of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They broke the covenants of the Lord. Right? But the Most High is still merciful. And he's going to explain this to Ezra. Verse 30. If thou didst so much hate thy people, yet shouldest thou punish them with thine own hands. Now, when I had spoken these words, the angel that came to me the night afore was sent unto me.
And real quick, and Ezra was kind of in verse 30, you know, he was saying, Lord, why can't you just punish us, man? You know, why are you giving us into the hand of those that hate us, man? You know, that's when you read verse 28. That's the context. We were scattered amongst all these people to the heathen that hate us, man, and do abominable things unto us. And Ezra, he's asking the Lord, you know, why can't you just punish us yourself? You know, with your own hands. You know, just afflict us in our own land. Why are we amongst the heathen? You know, and this is for all you damn low. Well, I don't want to say any word I guess it's banned, but you know, all you know what I'm gonna say, man.
Effeminate.
Not effeminate. It starts with a C, and it's an animal, man.
Well,
That
right
comes out at
movements.
night and sneaks around in the damn trash, man.
Right.
All you, this is all for all you, man. That talks about that we gotta love the nations, we gotta love our enemies, hold hands, get down with the white man. Don't arbor Edomite. This is for all you damn you know what I'm gonna say. Lord, I don't want to get banned, but this is for all y'all. Why is Ezra? Why does he have a hatred towards the other nations, man? Why is he saying, Lord, why are we amongst these people, man? I don't even want to be amongst them anymore. I want you to punish us and not even them. I don't want to see them. I don't want to be around them. I don't want to be in their hands anymore. Take us out of this land, take us out of these lands and punish us yourself. Why is Ezra saying that? If the Lord called us to get down with all these damn nations, man, and hold hands with them. You know, but let's move on.
Come. Verse 32. And said unto me, hear me, and I will instruct thee. Hearken to the thing that I say, and I shall tell thee more. And I said, speak on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them?
And Ezra had a deep love for Israel. He did. And the Lord, he knew that. So he questioned him. And Ezra's going to give his answer. Go ahead, King.
And I said, no, Lord, but of very grief have I spoken. For my reins pain me every hour, while I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High, and to seek out part of his judgment.
And that's how you should really be. You should love your people, and you should always have that compassion and that hurt for your people and the things that we're going through. But Ezra, on the other hand, too, he's trying to figure out the judgment from the Most High. Why were we going through this? Why do we continue to go through this? Why is this people subject to the things that they're going through and the things that they continue to go through, man? And that might run through your mind. This is why this is a mighty book to read, because it answers all your questions. Not on a deep level where you understand the mind of the Most High fully, but an answer that's sufficient enough for us. And as we go through the series, we're going to touch on those answers. What they are. I'll say this: they're very they're made for us. On our level. But go ahead, King. I'm gonna start reading. Verse 35. And he said unto me, Thou canst not. And I said, Wherefore, Lord? Whereunto was I born then? Or why was not my mother's womb then my grave? That I might not have seen the travail of Jacob and the wearisome toil of the stock of Israel. And he said unto me, Number me the things that are not yet come. Gather me together the drops that are scattered abroad. Make me the flowers green again that are withered. Open me the places that are closed, and bring me forth the winds that in them are shut up. Shew me the image of a voice, and then I will declare to thee the thing that thou laborest to know.
And Salakia, all of these questions are hard questions. These are things that Ezra couldn't answer. No man can answer. So it's the Most High pulling that card and saying, look, you speaking on things you don't know, right? There's a reason for everything. And the Lord, when you really get into this, the Lord is he's putting these questions in Ezra's mind so Ezra can get these answered. No one else was caring about Israel as much. So the Lord used Ezra to ask these questions, to give him these answers, but he did it in the way that the Most High wanted to do it, right? To show the magnificence of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Right. This is a mighty, mighty account and mighty book, right? You can read on, King.
And I said, O Lord, that bears rule, who may know these things? But he that have not his dwelling with men.
And real quick, for men that think they're God, I think I said this the last time, but pull these questions out on somebody.
Right.
For brothers that go on the highways and byways, ask them to show me the image of a voice. They're going to say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. These are confounding questions. If they're God, then make the flowers turn green again that's withered away. Go point to a tree that's across the street that's withered, has no leaves on it. Tell that man to grow them leaves back on that tree, and you'll see he'll be confounded. This just shows that we're just man, we're just dust and ashes, here today, going tomorrow, never to be thought again. Only reason why we here is because of the Most High. Right. So we have to be humble. Right, you can read on, King.
As for me, I am unwise. How may I then speak of these things whereof thou askest me?
Then said he unto me, like as thou canst do none of these things that I have spoken, even so canst thou not find out my judgment, or in the end, the love that I have promised unto my people.
So the Lord, he's above us. And he was telling Ezra, like the brother Kasai said, Ezra couldn't answer these questions. He said, look, you have to be outside of the realm of man to answer these questions. Basically giving all the glory to the Most High in that circumstance. But in this case, he's saying right here, the Lord's saying, Slakia, can you read that one more time, King? In verse 40. Verse 40. Come.
Then said he unto me, like as thou canst not, it's like if thou canst do none of these things that I have spoken of, even so canst thou not find out my judgment.
So he's saying, since you can't even do the things that I spoke of, you're never going to be able to understand my judgment or even find it out. He couldn't even tell Ezra. Why? Because it's not for Ezra to know. It's not for us to know. We're not up here and we're not, brothers aren't going to come out here fronting saying, yeah, we know the Most High's plan. It's full mapped out plan and we having stars. We're not going to come out here and lie about that. We have the Bible, man. That's what the Lord gave us. And the Lord gave us what was given to men. What was given to men isn't the same thing that's in the Lord's mind. Why? Because the Lord's ways are higher than our ways. Let's keep reading, King.
And real quick, you'll die if you had the mind of the Most High. These mortal bodies can't perceive that. The Lord said, I'm gonna get this quick precept.
Come on.
Right, I'm not gonna pull it on the screen. I'm gonna get it real quick. In 1 Corinthians, really quickly. This 1 Corinthians chapter 15 And I want 1 Corinthians chapter 15, and I'll give verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, neither do of corruption inherit incorruption. So our mortal bodies, the Lord has given us just the certain amount of wisdom and even a source to get this wisdom, like the brother's going into, right? Going into this Bible, right? Going into the understanding, the precepts, the understanding that Most High wants to give to us through His Spirit. You can't comprehend the ways of the Most High because these bodies aren't able to even physically do so, right? You got certain, even just to think about it on another level, certain computers you may have, it can only process but so much. Then once that computer is beyond its capacity, it starts to damn overload. It start crashing out. It start crashing out, right? Because it can't perceive all the capacity of data or whatever you're trying to do with that computer. It's beyond this realm. It's beyond this RAM, they would say, for a computer, right? Certain not to go into technical, things, but if you know, you know. You got to upgrade the RAM, upgrade the hard drive, a motherboard, so on and so forth, the GPU, the CPU. So how much more, man? You got to upgrade your body to really understand the ways of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And even then, you still would never be on the Most High's level. Let's read on.
And can you read that? Oh, Sluggy, is that your precept, King?
No, this is still verse 40.
Con, can you read that last part real quick? Yeah.
Con. This second Ezra chapter 5 and verse 40. Even so canst thou not find out my judgment, or in the end the love that I have promised unto my people.
And let's go to a quick precept. Isaiah 66 and verse 4. Or 64 and 4, I believe. 64 and 4.
And it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 64 and verse 4. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither had the eyes seen, O Yahweh, beside thee, what he had prepared for him that waited for him.
So while we go through when we're going through all tribulation, pain, death, the things of this world, the pains of the pains of the flesh, while we're getting tried and tempted by Satan and overcoming, the Lord said He has something prepared for all those that love the Lord, and no man can even know. No man can pronounce it, man. No man can say, "I know what the Lord has prepared for us, man," and step up to the plate and lay down everything the Lord has, man. The Lord said, "I have not seen, nor ear have heard," since the beginning, man. Not even the friends of the Lord know, man. Like Abraham, like Moses. Those men don't even know the things that the Lord has prepared unto those that love Him, man. Only the Lord knows. So we have to understand that, and that's what He had to tell Ezra so he can understand too. Hey, look, you was telling Ezra, you might be going through it right now. You might see Israel going through it, man. The turmoil, all the captivity, man. Them being amongst the heathen. But you don't even know what I prepared for those that love me, man, and that follow me to the end. You don't even know, man. He was telling Ezra, just keep on a basic level, endure to the end. Get to that end part where you can partake in that. Well, let's keep going, Ken. We can keep reading.
Second Ezra chapter 5 and verse number 41. It says, and I said, behold, O Yahweh, yet art thou nigh unto them that be reserved to the end. And what shall they do that have been before me? Or we that be now, or they that shall come after us? And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first.
So the judgment unto a ring. The ring is just a circle. When you picture a ring, it's just a circle, a circular shape. The Lord's saying that He's going to liken His judgment unto a ring. Meaning what? His judgment is going to be continuous. Meaning it's not going to stop. It's not going to for lack of better terms, take a break or take a whatchamacallit, a vacation. It's not going to be slowed down. It's not going to be sped up. It's going to be in continuous cycle, man. That's why I said, I'm going to read this one more time. Like as there's no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. I mean, the judgment is going to be continuous. It's never going to stop. It's always going to be there, and it's going to be in an ever going motion of the judgment of the Lord, man. Let's keep reading, King.
Reading on. It says, verse 43. So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those that have been made and be now and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner?
And Ezra on a level, he's just asking the Lord to bring forth all the spirits on the earth. Bring forth all the spirits on the earth. Bring them forth here now, so we can all just be tried right now, man. And the judgment can come sooner, man. He kind of want to speed things up. And like we was going before, in I believe the fourth chapter, man, when we was breaking that down, man, Ezra was kind of trying to hasten the works of the Lord, man. And he was doing it out of sincerity of his heart, and the Lord had mercy on him, man. But he was speaking of a place where a place of a lack of knowledge, a place of for lack of better terms, ignorance. He was asking the Lord to speed up his judgment. After the Lord has said he's going to like his judgment into a ring where it's continuous. It's continuous. It's not going to be slackness of the last, nor well, I'm not going to misquote it. Slackness of the last or swiftness of the first. So and right after that, Ezra's like, man, bring everyone on the face of the earth right now, the ones that were before, the ones that are right now, and the ones that are going to come after me, and bring them forth on the earth to be judged. Let's get this over with. Let's kind of he said, let's get things popping, man.
Right.
Ezra, that's what Ezra said. Let's keep reading, Ken.
Verse 44. Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein.
And the Lord told him that's impossible. He said that's impossible. He said the creature cannot haste of his maker. Meaning the creature, they can't say, well, Lord, I want to be upon the earth at this time. And the Lord has appointed for them to be on the earth in a time way before that, or way after that, man. The creature, they can't haste above the maker. The creature can't say, I want this to be done, and the maker has it set to be done this time and place, man. The creature cannot hasten above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. The Lord, he's telling him it's impossible, man. The Lord has it in a set way. When you read the book of Ecclesiastes, man, that's a mighty book. It's a very a deep book. But you understand that the Lord has what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word I'm looking for. You said what, King?
Generations?
Well, not generations. It's a word that symbolizes patterns. Like a pattern, a flow. But man, it's escaping me.
Yeah, me too.
There's a mighty word for it. It's escaping me.
Right.
But you said what, King?
No, I just said right.
It's escaping me. But the Lord, he has a set way of doing things when it comes to man on the face of the earth. The Lord is not just going to throw all men out there and say it's time to be judged. That's not how the Lord has it. That's how the Lord has it figured out, man. The Lord has it in a set way where man comes on the earth, like the brother said, throughout generations, in a set time, in a set season, constantly, in a circle of motion, or in a path. I can't think of the word, but it's all good. But we can move on, Ken. You got it. I'll read verse 45.
Come,
verse 45. And I said, as thou hast said unto thy servant, that thou which givest life to all, hast given life at once to the creature that thou hast created, and the creature bear it, even so it might now also bear them, now be present at once.
Right.
And he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why dost thou it not together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once.
Right. And imagine that. Imagine a woman just, I mean, certain animals, they can do that. They can lay a bunch of eggs or, produce a bunch of children all at once and things of that nature. Even then, it might be a little quicker, but it's still one by one. It's still order. It's still a balance. It's still like the brother was going into, a time and a season. So how much more all the spirits that the Most High has created? Every spirit that the Most High has created is not going to be all on the earth all at once, right? It just shows you that there are generations that must take place. And that even would defeat the concept of not having, when the elect has children in the kingdom, all the spirits are not going to be all there at once. There's still a time where they have to be brought forth. There's still going to be, again, birth and childbirth and things of that nature. So where are these spirits coming from? What's coming from the heavens? So that would show that all of man, or even the 2/3 of Israel, won't all be cut off forever and ever and ever and destroyed and burning up. No, there's going to be those spirits regenerated back again. There's regeneration in the Bible, and the Lord just showed you that. You can read on, King.
Come. And I said, she cannot, but must do it by distance of time. Then said he unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times.
And real quick, you have man that's in the earth. Well, of course, on a physical level, on one fold, woman having children in their times, one by one, right? But of course, as well, those that's ruling right now, they have their time. They have their. I think I was going into it last a video as well, that the Most High is even having mercy even on the other nations, right? They're not ruling in righteousness, but he's giving them a chance to rule. Remember, that was a promise that was given to Esau, is that he can rule first, right? He'll have his rulership first, and during the end of his rulership, Jake is going to be waking up, and we're going to take the kingdom and possess it forever, even forever and ever. So the Lord has given this to those that sown in the earth. They have their time as well. We'll have a time that'll be forever, but their time is right now. You can read on, King.
Come. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the age, even so have I disposed the world which I created.
And I asked and said, seeing thou hast now given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee. For our mother, of whom thou hast told me that she is young, draweth now nigh unto age. And his mother is talking about Israel, right? It's going to tell you, right? It says, he answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth, like those that were before, but less of stature?
And again, like the brother said, the mother will be Israel. You can read about that in 2 Esdras, the 10th chapter. He sees a woman throughout his trances. But when you read verse 51, or Salakia, verse 52, it says, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? It's going to break down what Ezra's trying to say right here. It's talking about when men come, and we're going to break it down. Let's keep reading. It's going to break it down.
Verse 53, and she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are one fashion.
And this is actually true. When you read, or not read, but when you look up birth among women, actual birth among women, when a woman births in the younger ages, the child usually comes out stronger. It comes out more healthy, less problems. Nothing's really going on. But when women get older age and they try to birth, there's usually problems. The child usually comes out weaker. They're not as strong. There might be a problem. They might come out malnourished. That's why when you read the book of Genesis, when you read about Sarah, she was there's a reason why she was scoffing when the Lord said she shall bear a child. Because it's very what's the word? Very uncommon for a woman of
Right.
age to bear a child that was healthy. There's usually some problems that came with it. But the brother, he got pulled up right here. You
Con.
mind reading that for me out?
Yeah, Con. This is from the National Institutes of Health.gov. Right, you can look this up. There's a study that was posted March 8th, 2007. So it says overall, older mothers over age 35 were more likely than were younger women to experience complications during pregnancy and delivery.
So as brothers and sisters can see, this is an actual thing that the Lord is equating in the world that will happen. When a woman is of older age, the child usually comes out with complications. Now, again, the mother in this case is Israel. Israel's the mother in this case, and the Lord the Lord and Ezra are going through this analogy and showing that those that come later they're going to be of less stature. We're going to break down what that means, though. Keep reading, King.
Right. It says, and she shall answer thee, verse 53, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise.
Exactly what we said before. Go ahead, King.
Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than they that were before you.
Now, on one end, this is talking about physically, and brothers talk about all the time. When you go back when you talk about biblical times, back in the day, the men that were on the earth, one, they lived longer. They were 100% taller. They were 100% stronger. When you read about these men in the Bible, these men were doing, uh, you could say, crazy acts. Crazy acts of strength. Crazy. There was different measurements that we have never heard before, or seen before, or that are not really a common theme amongst us, man. Why? Because these men, they were born in the world at a younger age. When the world was bringing forth these men, they came out when the world was younger. But now that the world has gotten a lot older, the men are coming out more of a less stature, meaning that they're coming out smaller, they're coming out weaker. We're not the same as the men that were walking on the face of the earth, during the time of Noah, man, or the time of Moses. These men were of higher stature. They were whatchamacallit? They were stronger, they were bigger, they were faster. Why? Because they were born for the world. But us being born in the oldness of the world, we came out in the less stature.
Right.
That's what the Lord is kind of getting out right here. But also on another end too, let's keep reading. It's gonna say it. Unless you have the point, Ken.
Reading on.
Tom.
Yeah, Khan. Even you go into in Deuteronomy, the Lord had spoke about Moses, right? Being at 120 years old, he was still in his full strength,
The
right?
strength of
At
baby from him.
120 years old,
Tom.
right?
Yeah,
Now,
strength of
exactly.
baby from him.
So,
Yeah.
right. But you have certain, right now, a brother, I mean, most of our people don't even make it past 70, 80 years old. And even at that age, they kind of, withered away. So how much more being 40 years, older and still being at full strength? You can see these bodies, we clearly decay much more rapid, right? Younger men having health problems, back pain, you know, going through it, right? And these bodies over time, the longer we're still here, is going to get worse and worse because the nutrients aren't here. The earth is out of course, like we read earlier. The damn air is out of course, right? It's not even proper. They're spraying chemtrail in the air every day. We don't know what's in our food, what's in the water. So, even on a carnal level, the things of this world is causing us to be less of stature as well. But you got it, King. Verse 55.
Oh, Kanye, I gotta read that. Slack Verse 55. And so are they that come after you less than thee, as the creatures which now begin to be old and have passed over the strength of youth.
Right?
Then said I, Lord, I beseech thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, shew thy servant by whom thou visitest thy creature.
Right. So Ezra, again, he wanted to still, expound on the different, specifically, Ezra continued to, ask the Most High different questions. Read about that the rest of this account, right? But the Lord's going to show Ezra why these things are such. He's going to talk about it in Second Ezra, the 6th chapter, right? Ultimately showing that we're of lesser stature because we're closer and closer to the end of the world,
Right.
right? So all praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High that we're living in a time where, again, the air quality is trash, right? The food, there's no nutrients. They're stripping that from us. Different pestilences that's going on in the earth. All praise to the Most High. Would it have been mighty to be around to see Israel at its beauty and things of that nature? Sure, that would be nice. But it's much better, right, to live in this time knowing that we're entering into the time we will be there forever. It will never be removed from our land again. You have anything, King, you want to bring out?
Khan, I'll bring out one last precept. And Khan, like the brother said, that it's real mighty, that we're living in these end times. And we get to see, even though like we're going through, we're at the worst state of our people, man. And that was the deeper meaning he was showing to Ezra. Israel's is going to get worse. The men that come out of Israel, from the time of Noah all the way to our time, they just get worse, man. Men get weaker. The men are turned aside more. Israel's in a fallen state, man. But the Lord said that through that fallen state, like the Lord answers in 2 Ezra 6th chapter, after the end of all this comes our redemption. Come on, let me get this quick precept. Classic. Ezekiel. That's what was going through before. Ezekiel 12. Listen, 12 in verse I'm gonna start with verse 27. It says, Son of man, behold, there the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come. And he that prophesieth of the end of the times that are far off. Therefore say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord Yahweh. So this is just a reminder to Israel not to get turned aside by men that are scoffing, by other things of the world, by calling you back to your old desires, the things you want to accomplish in the world, the money you want to chase, the woman you want to acquire, the damn houses you want to buy. Don't get taken away into those things that are calling you back, man. A lot of things are calling you back and saying, the Lord, amen. The word that the Lord has prophesied is not going to be done. Hey, come get back with family that go out on the Sabbath, eat crab legs, have fun, and go to hookah lounges and do this and do that. And Satan's whispering in your ears right now and telling you that the things that the Lord said are going to happen, they're not going to happen. Why? Because he's tarrying long or being slack, as some men count slackness, man. You have to be in the mindset that all the words that the Lord has spoken, these things they shall be done, and they will be done according to the Lord, man. And you have to believe in those words and follow throughout the day. Because if you get caught sleeping and you turn back into the world, hey, that's going to be you and your life gone, man. And the Lord's going to punish you as one that turned away from the truth and forsook this everlasting life, and these in the waters of life, man, and count you as a fool. But King, that's all I got. You got it.
I'm gonna get this precept in the book of Philippians, Philippians chapter 2, and I believe I want verse 15. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 15. It says that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God without rebuke. Meaning you didn't need rebuke. You didn't need somebody to tell you was being wicked, right? Meaning, hey, there's nothing really that's another way of saying there's nothing no one can say against you. You walk blamelessly. You walk harmlessly. You serve Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. You was wise as a serpent and you was harmless as a dove. In the midst of a Slakia, yeah, I should say midst, right, of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. So we're in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation. Our people, very wicked. But how much more these Americans, these Babylonians, right? These Egyptians that were around, if you got ears to hear, these Greeks, these Romans. We're in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. Let your light shine before men, right? You want to show the works of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, like the brother was just going into. You don't want to drift away and go back in the world, and guess what? Your light be dimmed, and you'll be put out in darkness. And you'll be crying and screaming, and no one will hear you, and the Most High will cast you away into utter darkness. So Most High willing, right? You read this next verse, right? And you hold on to it. It says, verse 16, holding forth the word of life. You have the words of life. That if you hold on to it and you believe in it and you trust in it, and you endure it to the end, and guess what? That I may rejoice in a day of Christ. You'll be able to rejoice when Yahweh Shai returns. That I have not run in vain. I was going into it this past Shabbat. It's foolish for men to lay down their lives in freezing cold weather, in damn snow, sleet, rain, scoffers, demons, guns being pulled on you, knives being pulled on you, your life at risk every single day, just to turn back and then you don't believe in Yahweh Shai. Just to turn back and then you back in the world because you secretly was still smoking that weed. You just couldn't shake the weed. Right? You couldn't get rid of the weed. You couldn't flush it down the sink or flush it down the toilet. You couldn't cast it away. You couldn't stop dealing with Tamika. Ashley just kept hitting you up. You just kept dealing with the things of this world. It says that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain. So you don't want to run in vain nor labor in vain. You want to serve Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. It says, yeah, and I be offered upon a sacrifice and service of your faith. I joy and rejoice with you all. So Most High willing was edified, right? And as always, we want to give all honor and all glory to Yahweh by Hashem Hamashiach Malak Yahushai, right? Again, all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Lord willing was edified. Most High willing to keep watching his last days. This is Brother Kisadi from WFR Jersey, Philly.
Brother Yatazamak.
Kwame Asharala, keep watching his last days. Shalom.
Shalom.